Which Slovakian player is absolutely obsessed with football? Which England player gives excellent interviews to the media? What does the former Czech international Pavel Horvat think about Bellingham's obscene gesture in the match against Slovakia? And what the hell is the schwa sound? Hello, my name is Zdenek Lucas, and you're listening to the Footglish Podcast, a show that allows you to score goals in your English learning journey. And we are discussing Euro 2024, specifically the round of 16. And today I'm joined by Martin Minha. Hi, Martin, how are you?
Hello, Zdenek. Thank you for being with you. And I think I'm okay. A little bit tired because I had radio show in the early morning, but hopefully I'll find some energy.
Excellent. I have to confess something, yeah, Martin. I was stalking you a bit. I looked at your LinkedIn, and it says that you are a swimming instructor. We won't. I don't think we will need that for this one. See, this is a football podcast, so you are also a radio and TV presenter and Premier League and England expert, which means we definitely have to talk about the Slovakia England game. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I think I'm ready. I was swimming teacher for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years, but right now I'm concentrating only on media. And I'm happy that I don't have to work because the media is kind of hobby for me. So I think I'm a happy person.
we love to interview happy people on the Footglish podcast. That's exactly the kind of people we need here. And first of all, I need to ask you. So you are Czech, just like me. We are countrymen.
Mhm.
Most Czech people, I would say, supported Slovakia in this game, and so did the rest of Europe. Let's be honest. But I know you also love England. So who did you cheer for in this game?
That's a great question because my feelings were mixed a little bit. But I found myself in 30 minutes that I'm quite happy that Slovakia are better than England, honestly. And I think the main reason is England is full of superstars, but Slovakian team is like they have the spirit. They have to fight to achieve something. But I had a feeling when I was watching the game that Trippier, Walker, and Bellingham, Rice, they're like, don't worry, we're playing Premier League, so we will score
Yeah.
somehow. But they didn't, or of course they did, but they didn't for 90 minutes. They had to find the goal thanks to one of the best footballers in the world right now, and that's Jude Bellingham. So, but to answer your question, I think I was like 60% Slovakian fan, 40% English.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I'm with you on that, especially because of the whole context of England underperforming, heavily underperforming, really like not showing anything in the tournament, making it out of the group like without any sort of
Hmm.
showing us anything really, the fans, and have heavily criticized by the media, of course. And on the other hand, you had Slovakians who beat Belgium and who played really good football in the tournament, and then
Yeah.
these two teams in a tie, and then as you said, the England players, they did not really start well, did they? I mean, Slovakians, they started really brightly and bravely, and they had a few early chances, and then they even took the lead through Ivan Schranz and 25th minute, right?
Yeah, it's a huge topic that Ivan Schranz scored 3 goals because he wasn't the player who started every game for Slavia this season. So I know many Slavia fans. They are surprised that he was so good. And right now they are, on the other hand, very happy that he's so good because hopefully he will be as good as he was on this tournament for Slavia next season.
Mm.
So we will see. But Slovakian team is full of I don't know, secret superstars, maybe I would call them. Lobotka is one of the best centre midfielders in the war, I think, right now. And they got the Haraslin, which is a very good winger for Sparta Prague as well. And David Hansko, I hope honestly that he will come to Premier League this season because we had David in the last studio at Canal Plus Sport during last season, and I have to say he knows everything about football. He lives football. He breathes football. He's like, it has to be crazy to be boyfriend of David Hansko, because or
Well,
girlfriend,
yeah.
because he's still with football. So
Mm.
incredible. Yeah, I don't. That's maybe the reason why Slovakian were successful in this tournament.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But going back to that first goal, actually, it was an interesting moment because basically Ivan Schranz got past Gayi. I think that's the way
Yeah.
we pronounce. I
Hmm.
still start struggling with pronunciation of his name. The
Hmm.
Crystal Palace right back. He got past
Yeah.
him. Gayi was already on a yellow card,
Yeah.
and
That's right.
I think he fouled him. And Ivan Schranz decided to continue and scored the
Hmm.
goal. Do you
Hmm.
think if he had gone to the ground instead, it would have probably been a penalty, right? And a red. Do you think Slovakia might have won the game?
Well, that's the question. Yeah, but that's very nice gesture from Schranz that he scored actually, and I think that's the right gesture. On the other hand, if he went to ground, then it will be the second yellow card and a penalty. So you are probably right. But anyway, you have to score against England when you have even very small chance, and they did. So it was very sad moment in 95th minute that they conceded, because I think in the first half there's no doubt that Slovakia were a better team. They were a
Mhm.
better team, and the next day I was reading the media, and there were some critics about the performance from second half of Slovakia, and that they were only
Yeah.
defending. You know, they put the wall from behind, but I totally understand. You're 1-0 up against the biggest, favorites. So
To me, it looks like most of the teams would do that. Even
yeah,
England did that when they were 2-1 up in the extra time. I mean, it's just what teams do these days. They park the bus. It's effective. It works.
exactly.
And if you, especially if you are a lesser team, like at
Hmm.
that point, Slovakia. I mean, maybe they also had to exert a lot of energy in that game. And then the Italian coach, what's his name? Calzone.
Calzona, Calzona,
Calzone.
yes.
He start. I think he started subbing some people off, right, and
Hmm.
bringing on more defensive players, as far as I
Yeah,
remember. And perhaps it's just what happened. And they were literally 1 minute away from winning it, but then something incredible happened. Gareth Southgate brought on Ivan Toney, who
yeah,
flicked on. It was a throw in, right, from Kyle Walker, I think.
exactly.
And
And then it was Mark Gehi. Firstly, it was Mark
ah,
Gehi who assisted Bellingham's goal, the overhead
okay.
kick, and Tony assisted the Hurricane in extra
I'm
time.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
So
sorry.
no,
Yeah.
that's fine. It's fine. But I think Ivan Tony had impact on this game. That's for sure. It was great substitution, and I think Gareth Southgate was like, he had to be so happy inside, even though he tried to pretend he's very calm. I think he wasn't. I think he wasn't.
Mhm.
So very very
Yeah.
happy moment for the whole country. I don't know if you saw the videos. So many fans left the stadium in 92nd minutes, I think, and they went to pub. They were sure that England are out of the tournament, and then the magic Bellingham made it, or did it again. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's incredible how thin the line between failure and success is. Literally, Gareth Southgate, yeah. I heard on an English podcast that he was more, or still is probably more hated than the current prime minister of the UK.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like, and then he's stubborn. He was stubborn, right? He brought on Ivan Toney. I mean, 1 minute to the end of the game,
Mm,
and Ivan Toney was upset with him as well, and he did it anyway. He's sometimes he's so stubborn, right? Like the way he used to stuck with Maguire, and we have so many stories with him. But
exactly.
it's working, right? England haven't been getting better results with any other manager for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He's 8 years in charge. That's quite a long period. That's the first thing. And the second thing, he's similar to Jaroslav Šilhavý, I think, in some things, because as you said very well, he's stubborn. He
yeah,
has favorite players, who sometimes even doesn't play for their clubs during the season, and I think Harry Maguire is one of them. But he's injured, so right now he plays Stones and Guehi. But
Yeah,
I think the general problem is that when you look at the English squad, they really have the golden generation. So I totally understand the expectations. They need the trophy right now because you got Foden, who was fantastic during this season. You got Palmer, who was fantastic. Kane, who was fantastic for Bayern Munich. You know, Saka, he's a superstar at the Arsenal team. Declan Rice, wow, what a transfer last summer. So they are individually very, very good players, maybe one of the best, but I don't see them as a great team. I,
exactly.
you know,
Yeah,
I feel there has to be some battles in the dressing room because I
you're
don't
right.
I don't feel they support each other. That's the problem, I
Mm,
think.
mm, mm. I know you have these other countries like Denmark, Switzerland, and Slovakia, Georgia. These
Georgia,
these
yeah.
have individually worse players, like by far. Even when you look at the salary of these players,
Hmm.
but you have this saying, the whole is better than the sum of its parts, right? When you have a great team,
Yeah.
it can create miracles sometimes.
Mm.
And England will have a tough time if they really want to win by showing these kinds of performances. But it was indeed a moment of brilliance from Jude Bellingham. I mean, this is why we watch
Hmm.
football, right? Unless I suppose you support Slovakia, but it was an amazing moment. An
Yeah.
overhead kick, a bicycle kick.
Exactly. He writes the story, I think, every game, Jude Bellingham, and he's
Yeah,
still 21, which is incredible, he shut the mouth of critics who said English player can't be successful abroad, and
yeah,
he was successful in Germany. Now he's successful in Spain. He won Champions League. He won La Liga. He scored 19 goals in Spain in his first season, only in the league, and he was superstar in Champions League as well. And what I like about him when he has the chance to talk to the media, there's every time something specific and something very, how to say, self-confidence, maybe,
and
he
it
knows
makes
it.
sense when he talks. Like
Exactly,
he
exactly.
presents good arguments. Because let's be
Yes.
honest, a lot of players. I mean, I would probably not be any better because it's a tense moment when you have to speak to you guys, to the media.
Mm,
Yeah?
yeah.
But you know what I mean. It's a tense moment. A lot of emotions in the game,
Hmm.
and now they are asking you all these questions. Usually, most of the players they will just stick with some cliches, right? Let's be honest.
Yes,
But
that's
he's
right.
not like that. You're completely right. He seems to be sort of above all it. I don't
Uh-huh.
know how he does that. Yeah. Mm.
Exactly. 21. He has a brother in England, and I think he's very good as well. So many clubs now is circling around him. So I think he maybe should or could go to Tottenham. We will see. So I'm interested if he's the same, by character and by how he speaks, because yeah, he's special. Bellingham is so special.
Mm. Well, there is a dark side to him, though. We have to mention that, Martin. We cannot escape it. Something weird happened, which I think most people did not notice, but then
Uh-huh.
it came out on social media the next day. He was shown sort of making some kind of obscene gesture. I think touching
Yeah,
his
yeah.
kind of balls or something in
Yeah.
front, and it seemed to be in front of the Slovakian. Um, what's the name for it?
Bench or
Dugout,
something.
dugout,
Yeah.
yeah, dugout. I wanted
Dagard,
to say
yeah.
dugout. Yeah. So and now he's sort of saying, "Oh no, it was a joke for my friends who were in the stands."
Exactly.
How do you see that? What do you make of this?
Well, I was talking about it with Pavel Horvat, who also knows Spain football culture, and he said that in Spain this gesture is quite normal, but Pavel also said that it really doesn't mean some kind of positive things to his friends. So I think he has very good media team, because I think 10 minutes after he did that, there was on social media some post which said, "I'm sorry, it was only, I was waving to my friends, blah blah blah." So it's up to everyone if they want to see negative things of Jude Bellingham. so many emotions, but I think this is not necessary. And the other thing
Yeah.
is that sometimes he little bit kicks to journalists. Sometimes I have this feeling.
Hmm.
It was against this game as well that he said that he doesn't understand critics of English team because they are
Yeah.
through of the group, blah blah blah. But it's nothing special so far from them. 4 games and they scored I don't know how many, 4 goals I think. So nothing special.
Well, I think they scored more goals than France, to be honest, because the
Yeah,
French team they only scored. Well, actually, they didn't score any goals in open play. There were two
exactly.
own goals and one
Hmm.
goal from a penalty.
That's
Which
right.
was scored by Mbappe. So I mean, England are definitely not the only ones that are underperforming at the Euro so far.
Yeah.
But we could say this is a mark of a great team. Sometimes, right? They are not playing well, but they get it done. Harry Kane scored the winner, as you said, with Ivan
Hmm.
Toney. Ivan Toney made an assist, I believe. So, is this what sometimes needs to happen for a champion to be produced?
Yeah, I think definitely, if they won the tournament, then everyone after 1 or 2 years, they will forget how they played in the group, and actually, no one will care.
Mm,
And they are very, very lucky, I think, right now at this moment that they are at the better part of the knockout stage because they go
yeah,
Switzerland right now, and if they won against Switzerland, they will probably go to Turkey or Netherlands. I think that's my guess. So it's still they should win all of those games. So we will see.
definitely. They have
Yeah.
a better side of the draw, but that was my next question.
Hmm.
Do you think they actually stand a chance against Switzerland? Because the way it looks now, I'll be honest with you, Martin, my money is on Switzerland at the moment.
I totally understand you. Uh, how much will you bet?
Well, us, the English teachers, we don't bet so much. Don't worry. So
Okay,
probably
cool.
no
Okay.
more than 50 Czech crowns, which is about 2 euros.
Okay, fine, fine. Now I have to say I love Switzerland at the tournament. They have the balls, they have courage, they have energy, they support each other, which is quite important. They got Granit Xhaka, who I admire secretly because I didn't like him 5 or 6 years ago, but right now he's so mature and so intelligent, and he's a leader, and he won almost everything with Bayer Leverkusen this season, and he was superstar 2 years ago at Arsenal as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, it will be tough. It will be special for Xhaka this game against England because he has so many friends in the team, especially Bukayo Saka. Xhaka versus Saka. That's cool. So yeah, we will see. I think it's 50-50 right now, even though England has to win it because if they didn't, then it would be a huge fuck up, I think. Sorry.
yeah. We will beep it out. Don't worry. Actually, we won't because we don't have it. We don't have that option in on this podcast. So it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, actually, going back to Granit Xhaka, I was actually lucky because before COVID, I was living and working in the UK, and my boss
Okay.
gave me a ticket. It was a Christmas present. She gave me a ticket for an Arsenal game because I support Arsenal, and I went to the
Uh,
game, and it was that game where Granit Xhaka was substituted. It was against Crystal Palace. He was
mm,
substituted, and he threw the captain's armband on the ground, and the whole stadium booed him, and
good.
he was like the biggest villain. I think that I can't remember exactly, but I believe the armband was then taken off him, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. There was
Hmm.
and it looked like he was done at that moment. But
Mm,
from that moment, he started playing better. Like, okay, a few years later, let's say, suddenly there's this resurrection and resurgence of Arsenal, and then he left, right? Then he left and went to Bayern Leverkusen, and he just lost only one game in the entire season, and won the title, won the double with Bayern Leverkusen, right?
yeah.
Bayer
Yeah.
Leverkusen.
Hmm. Yeah. He
Yeah,
played every minute, I think. So he's a leader as well in Germany right now. So him and his agent, they did a great choice that he came to Germany, and I think he will. play very big part at this game against England as well. I think it's on a Friday or on Saturday, right? The English
Something like
game.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, something like
probably
that. Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Martin, any other standout moments for you in the round of 16? Have you seen any other matches? As of recording now, 6 out of 8 games have been played.
Yeah, I have to say I love Spain at this tournament, and I'm quite happy that I don't know the players quite well because during the Premier League season I don't have time to watch other leagues, honestly. So I'm amazed by Yamal, I'm amazed by Williams, and the team is very mixed, perfectly mixed, I would say, perfectly balanced. You got Morata, who is experienced player. Then you got Rodri. I think Rodri for me is the best player in the world right now. If
Yeah.
I was a coach and the management would come to me and ask me, would you want to come to your team? I would say Rodri, definitely Rodri. He's a
I'm not
leader.
sure.
He can.
I'm not sure. Pepe would agree with Pepe Guardiola. Would like that, but
No, he definitely wouldn't because I think Pep realized that he's so important for Man City, and he's so important for Spain national team. And you could see that against Georgia because he was the one who scores the equalizer, and then it was easy for Spain because Georgia. But Georgia was so optimistic in this game as well. They
Mhm.
scored even though they were under pressure since first minute. But when I was watching the game, I was like, why our Czech national team are not playing like Georgia?
Yeah.
Because they they have the balls. They don't have big names, but they want to play football, and
It's
you
so
know
ironic. It's so ironic that actually
it's
our
so
best game
sad.
was against Georgia. The
I
Czech
know.
team,
Yeah.
we played so well against Georgia.
Mm,
They were under the cosh for the whole game, Georgia,
mm,
except for that last chance. Like we had the game under control. So many chances. It was like we had the most chances of any game and didn't win. Right? It was some kind of a record. We broke a record or something.
yeah. But their goalkeeper Mamardashvili is so good. He's so good, and he was so good,
Yeah.
unfortunately, against Czech Republic. Even though I think when you have 10 or 15 shots, you have to score at least once or twice, and they didn't. So it's
Yeah.
again, it's the question of quality. It's the question of quality, Zdenek. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you one last question. I'm just very curious as to what you think about Cristiano Ronaldo because yesterday he played an incredible game. He will never forget this game, and I think all his
Hmm.
supporters will never forget this game. He missed a penalty. I think he was a passenger in that game. He was taking all free kicks. He wouldn't let anyone else to take any of the free
Yeah.
kicks as usual. Then he took a penalty. He missed it. It was actually a brilliant save by Oblak, and then he started crying as well. It was quite unusual. You don't see this very often during a game. Like you may see it when a player gets injured, right? When it's a really serious injury, the player starts crying, or after a game, after a lost game. Yeah, but you don't see it. Like he looked like completely destroyed by that. And then he takes another penalty in the shootout, and Portugal are through. So, what do you make of that?
Zdenek, he's the winner. That's the main problem. That's the thing. I saw so many documents. I read books about Cristiano because for me, I respect him even more than Messi because I think Messi's got a talent, but Ronaldo had to train to get on
Hmm.
this very top level.
No.
And he's 39 and he's still in very good shape because he knows every piece of his body and he knows how to protect his body. He knows what to do to be still on this top level.
Hmm.
He's a little bit unfortunate. Of course, we can say he's selfish. Uh, he That's quite interesting. He had 58 free kicks during his season on a national level at the major tournaments, right? 58, and he only 13 times found not the net, but the
hit the
goal.
hit the target. Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
exactly. Hit the target, and only once he scored. So that's very bad numbers. We have to be honest.
Um,
Plus, you got Bruno Fernandes in the team. You got Cancelo. You got Bernardo Silva. They all has great technique, so they could all, took the free kicks. But I think they even don't have the courage to ask Cristiano because he's the main idol. And when he trusts in himself, which he does in every moment, then they don't have a chance, I think. So I was surprised as well that he cried during the halftime of the extra time. That's quite unusual. But I
yeah.
wasn't surprised that he was the first guy who said, "I'm going for a penalty again, and I will score," and he did. So he's a superstar again for me, in my
He
eyes.
is. He is. I heard some people on a podcast saying that he's a narcissist, as you said, selfish. This is the question. Sometimes, if you want to make it to the top, you have to be a
Hmm.
little bit like that, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, there are different paths to success, I guess, but this is
Hmm.
definitely one of them, and he's very good at it. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Um, well, Martin, I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you very much for featuring on the Footglish podcast today, and thank you for all your footballing insights and expertise.
Thank you very much, Zdenek. It was a pleasure, and take care. Good luck with everything.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome back to the show. As always, this is the Language Corner, and in this part of the show, I'm going to teach you something because I have to do my job, right? I'm an English teacher after all. So let's go. And today, I'd like to focus on pronunciation. I'd like to talk about something that is not talked about often enough amongst English teachers, and that is the schwa sound. The schwa sound. Have you heard what the schwa sound is? Do you know which sound it is? It is actually the sound, the most neutral vowel sound in the English language, and it is, believe it or not, the most common sound in the English language. And a lot of people don't pronounce it where they should pronounce it, or pronounce a different vowel instead of this sound. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples of this sound. All these examples have the schwa sound at the beginning of words in the first syllable. Okay? So, Martin was talking about Ivan Schranz and Slavia fans, and he said they're surprised that he was so good. Surprised. Surprised has the schwa sound in the first syllable. Surprised. Now, you have to remember something about the schwa sound, ladies and gentlemen. It is never ever stressed in the English language, especially when it's at the beginning of a word. This basically means that the following syllable is stressed instead. So you don't say surprised or something like that. You should say surprised. Surprised. Stress means that the syllable is louder, stronger, more prominent. And the unstressed syllable, on the other hand, that would be the s, the one that contains the schwa sound, is weaker, sounds weaker. So it should be surprised, okay? Another example, Martin was talking about Slovakians, and he said it was a very sad moment when they conceded. To concede, concede. Again, there is a schwa sound, concede, and that means that this syllable isn't stressed. The following syllable, seed, the seed syllable is stressed instead. Okay? Another example. Next day, I was reading the media, and there were some critiques about the performance of Slovakians in the second half. Okay? So here we have the word performance. Again, the first syllable has the schwa sound, so it is not stressed. We cannot say performance. We have to say performance. Performance. Okay? Right. Then Foden was fantastic. Yeah? Fantastic. Okay? And then they've got Granit Xhaka, who I secretly admire. Admire, right? Admire. Another one. And the last example is when Martin was talking about Jude Bellingham, and he said he was successful in Germany. Successful. Not successful, but successful. Yeah? The first syllable has the schwa sound, that's why it's not stressed. Well, I hope this is useful. I hope this can help you with your pronunciation. That is the idea anyway. That is the idea of this podcast. We talk about football, but we also try to learn something here. Okay? And the last thing I need to do is to ask you if you could leave a review. If you do like this podcast, why don't you write a review on Apple Podcasts or give me 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you can do that. It would really help me out a lot. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.